Come, let us fix our eyes on the risen Christ. This is Unpopular Theology, Episode 2. So, today's episode, we're going to be talking about the coronavirus and the effect on the church and what you can do to maybe distract yourself from it. That's why this episode is called The Rantings and Ravings of a Lutheran Pre-Sem Student, How to Deal with the Coronavirus. So, before we get to that, I got a couple announcements. Number one, thank you to everyone who watched the video last week. Completely surprised by it. Wasn't expecting 50 views, and I got 155 at last count, so thank you to everyone. Announcement number two, most of our tech problems have been fixed. There's still the sound of the fan in the background, you can probably tell. I've got some things to muffle that sound, but for right now, that's all I can really do. Number three, I did get a lot of positive comments on unpopular visits, but there's a few things you should know about that. Number one, as I mentioned in the video, it's going to be a while before they happen. There's calls that need to be made, things that I need to do, other things I need to do, and this virus needs to get done with. So, but until then, it's not going to happen. But when it does happen, I do have some announcements for that too. Yeah, I'm open to suggestions, as long as it's not an LCMS church, because I am LCMS. I've got a wish list about this long. The other thing is, it's got to be in the Twin Cities or Milwaukee area. It can't be out in New York somewhere. It's got to be in that area. I'll go as far as Chicago if you have if A, I'm in school, and B, you have a connection to the church and you prove to me that it has some unique characteristic that I just have to see. And with that being said, no, for you Green Bay Packer fans, Lambeau Field does not count as a cathedral. So with that being said, let's get to the topic at hand, and that is the coronavirus. It's all over the news. I can't avoid it, so I'm going to do a video on it. So this really hits home with me this week because I was supposed to be down in St. Louis today with my friends visiting Concordia Seminary. I don't get to do that now. The other thing is, my friend sent a message to the group chat yesterday and told us that the governor of Wisconsin was extending the stay-at-home order, and because he can't move his wedding back because of certain financial commitments and that stuff, I can't go. That's just the way it is. He's upset about it. I'm upset about it. His family's upset about it. I'm sure his fiance's upset about it. Haven't really talked to her much about it, but I'm sure, yeah, it's not a good situation, and I feel bad for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give you some suggestions of things to do. Number one, go to church. Even if you can't go there in person, you can watch it online. That's what I've been doing since I've gotten home from my spring break trip to Montana, which was essentially quarantine. There wasn't much to do out there. Like I said, this isn't meant to be your theological diet. It can be part of your theological diet, but you need to be hearing from a pastor. And while we're on the subject of pastors, I'd like to talk about online communion. This is more for the Lutherans listening. If your pastor's doing it, don't do it. He doesn't have control over who all takes communion. So you could have somebody who's watching your church and decides to take communion and they're not LCMS, and that's on him, and that's not good. Talk to your pastor about it if he is doing this. I haven't heard much about this in the past week, so hopefully cases of this have not gone down. But yeah, just know, don't do it. It's not good practice. Right now, we're just in exile from the sacrament, and it stinks, I know. Another thing I'm going to suggest you to do is read. So, first thing I'm always going to suggest is the Bible. If you don't know where to start, just pick a random book. Just pick a book and start there. Like me, I pick the epistles. I love the epistles, so I'll read those. If there's other devotional resources out there, there's Lutheran Hour Ministries puts one out. So Concordia Publishing House has Portals of Prayer. That's what my family uses every night at dinner. There's other devotional resources out there. So if you find one you like that has good theology, go ahead and use it. The next thing I'm going to suggest is the Book of Concord. Now I know that I do not have a strictly Lutheran audience here, and I'm still going to suggest that for everyone. You know, if you want to know what the Lutheran Church is about, read the Book of Concord. That lays it out in kind of plain terms. Sometimes it's a little difficult, but it's a good read. If you don't know where to start, if you're fortunate enough to have the Reader's Edition like I do, there's a little chart in the front that gives you a reading list that you can do. If you don't have that, I'd just say maybe go an article of a document a day, unless you're dealing with the creeds, then do them all in one day and probably do an article from another document. If you don't have access to this resource, which I'm sure none of you non-Lutherans do, and a lot of you Lutherans probably don't either, there's a website called bookofconcord.org. It has the entire Book of Concord on there for free. It also has other resources on there from early Lutheran writings. I'll post a link to it down in the description. Yeah, it's a very good website. It's what I used to use before I got my own Book of Concord. And so, yeah, so those are the two big ones. Now, if you're looking for other books to read, I'm a big C.S. Lewis fan, so Mere Christianity. It's kind of a layman's systematic theology, although when you get to the Trinity, it gives you a headache. I'm just going to be honest there. But it is a good read. He does a good job of trying to keep things not influenced by his Anglican theology. Yeah. The other one is Screwtape Letters. It's written from the perspective of a senior demon writing to a junior demon. So if you want to get in the mindset of Satan, want a little satire, read the Screwtape Letters. It's great. Other books, the pastor at the church I attend over in Milwaukee has suggested Pilgrim's Progress, St. Augustine's Confession, and Life Together by Dietrich Bonhoeffer. I have Life Together. I don't have the other two. Maybe you have a copy of one of the other two. Maybe you'd like me to know how those go. If you do read that, let me know in the comments below. Yeah. If you don't want to necessarily read theology other than the Bible, then just pick a good book. Like for my America in Vietnam class, I am reading Into the Mouth of the Cat, which is about an American airman, true story by the way, who got shot down over North Vietnam, and it's the story of his survival, or what we know of it, because he was alone for a while. And then my other suggestions that we've been reading: turn off the news. You don't need to see President Trump's press conference every single day. You don't need to see Governor Cuomo's conference, I'd argue, at all, unless you're living in New York. Maybe just tune into your governor's press conference would be my suggestion. But yeah, just get your head out of the news. There's better things to do with your time. Go for a walk if you can. I've gone for a walk the past couple weekends. It's been nice here in the Twin Cities. Granted, it did snow on Sunday and Monday, but it's melting. That's good. But yeah, it's been nice out here. Now, I know some states aren't letting you do that. That's frustrating, but, you know, if you can, go outside. Yeah, it's fresh air. It's always good. So yeah, I know this video was a little short. Thanks for watching today. If you liked our video, go ahead, like, subscribe, go over to our Facebook page, which the link does work now, and like our Facebook page. We post new stuff every weekday. Not gonna really do things on weekends unless it's a major feast. Yeah, next week we're gonna be talking about Commemorations, what they are, why Lutherans celebrate them, why I celebrate them, why you should consider celebrating them, and if we have time next week, we'll talk about a specific commemoration. Until then, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus.